Are you a technician who wants to set yourself apart? Then the Trusted Technician podcast is for you. I'm your host, Dr. Krista Fabric with SBE, and on this podcast, we will have top performing technicians and experienced HVAC coaches and trainers sharing their tips and strategies to help you be more successful. Awesome. Well, Derrick, thanks so much for coming today. I know I just said your first name, but would you mind giving us a quick introduction to yourself?
Yes. My name's Derrick Dixon. I've been in the trade for going on 6 years, and work for Dell's Heating and Air in Ooltewah, Tennessee. We're right outside of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Awesome. I love Tennessee. My in-laws are thinking about moving there right now, actually.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. Everyone's flooding to Tennessee right now because it's a lot cheaper than everywhere else. It's like the new California. It will be. I'm assuming.
And so, have you been a tech the whole time you've been in the industry, or did you start elsewhere?
I came out of trade school. I went straight into maintenance. Actually, when I first started working for Dell's, he was doing a little bit of plumbing, so I was helping with install, doing some plumbing work, and then about 3 months later, I ended up in a maintenance truck, and then moved into service, and I became a selling tech last year.
Awesome.
Last year
was
my first official year doing that.
Okay, good. Well, actually, that's not quite my first question, but that's a good place to start. So, what was the difference in when you became a selling tech? What changed there in your work day?
Well, a lot changed actually, because you're not really just you're not just trying to hammer out every call and get through them as quickly as possible. You really have to slow down, take your time. It does kind of change the amount of opportunities you have throughout the day, because if you're on a service call, a lot of times my process is if I'm on a service call, I'll diagnose it. If the repair or replacement option is on the table and the customer starts asking for that, then I'm doing a load calculation. I'm discussing the options with them, and then most of the time I'm still even fixing the unit to help them along until we can get the unit put in. So some of those calls can go 3 hours, 4 hours. But the office really plans for that and tries to move some things around. So but it's the biggest thing that changed is just being more attentive to the customer's needs and just spending a lot more time getting to know what they really want, what's working in their house for them and what's not, and just really uncovering the big picture.
I love that. You're saying that taking the time and finding out what the customer wants. That's the keys right there, right?
Absolutely.
The keys to the kingdom. And so when you became a selling tech, is that when you kind of started getting into the training here with SBE, or?
So I think even before I was a selling tech, we did one SBE boot camp with Will in Knoxville. And that was kind of, I guess that was really before they were doing the video thing, where we were taking videos and pictures and showing them to the customer and getting them more involved. He did a lot of the smell my finger.
Hey, that still works, doesn't it?
It sure does. So, but the videos and pictures were a game changer for me for sure. Whenever I think I went back through SBE training again right before I started selling equipment, and it's just changed the game. Just customers don't see any of the stuff that you see, and just taking those pictures and taking the time to show them that thing. It'll be the difference between $100 ticket and a change out.
And so what you're saying is showing them, proving it builds trust, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so we love hearing that. And I know I pulled you out of the video training right now, but you know how to do that.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's kind of important. We should also share. You've had a pretty successful 2021. What was your revenue again?
$1,060,000.
There you go. Just over $1 million. That's a big. That's a big goal. You talk to techs and say how much you want, how much revenue you want to make, and they all say $1 million.
That was pretty cool. I didn't even set that as my goal this year. It was actually $799,000 because I did like $672,000 last year. So I was like, well, I'm going to try to get 800, and then ended up hitting that probably by September, October. Okay. So it was pretty cool to change that goal to 1 million, and then even after that, I was like, okay, I got to do 1.1 now. So that was the big goal. The last month of the year, everyone was saying, I was like 1.1 and 21 has a good ring to it, so I've got to get there. But I was like 40,000 shy. But we're kind of assuming maybe I didn't log something, maybe I hit 1.1.
Call 1.1.
Right, round it up. That's how you do it.
So what did you set your goal for this year?
I think it's close to 1.3.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to stretch it again, you know,
Yeah.
and off to a pretty good start this year. So it's cool to watch the leaderboards and see. You know, I'm hanging in the upper 20s right now. So
it's good. Yeah, you're in good company, as you're hearing, right?
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, revenue generation is awesome. That means job security. That means your customers are getting what they need. That means income for you.
Oh yeah.
But I love to hear. What does that additional income mean to you? Like, well, how's that impacted your life?
Oh, well, I mean, it's just financial freedom, the income from the employer, right?
Yeah.
Well, my wife and I have we've done some house flips with it. We're getting into rental property at this point. We're preparing for retirement. You know, I mean, it's incredible to see. And my wife's very successful as well. She's a project manager at Whirlpool, so together we're crushing it, and it's really cool to see how we can just create a good life. You know, we're changing our family tree. You know, so I mean, and it's all with HVAC. You know, I mean, I never would have thought that. She always told me when I was going to trade school, she was like, "You're going to make $13 an hour and go to school for a year for that." I was like, probably not. It would be better.
It'd be better, yeah.
I didn't think it would be this good.
You never imagine. I know that's like, I love to hear that. You sound like you're doing a lot of things with the additional income, so that's so cool to hear.
Absolutely.
And now that you know you can do it, right? Now you can continue making plans, you know, of how you want to have the financial freedom. So, what would you say is your favorite thing then about being an HVAC tech, especially now where you are?
I love people. I love meeting new people. I have a lot of relationships with a ton of customers in our customer base that request me only, and I go out to their house, and sometimes they just put a service call in just to chat. It seems like, you know.
Yes.
So it's definitely good to have those relationships and just really start. You know, you invest a lot into those people and care a lot about them. They're not numbers to you. They're like family. So I think that's the biggest part, and just the camaraderie in our company. We've developed a really close knit culture there, and everyone really challenges each other, and I think that's the coolest thing. We're all friends. We're all family. You know.
I love that you brought that up, because we are always coaching the owners and management on a positive culture and positive reinforcement. And so, would you say that the way the company is set up and that culture has helped you be more successful?
Absolutely. And I always stay in touch with all my tech school friends, and it just doesn't compare the culture that we have at Dell's, and the work environment, the work-life balance, all of that is just it's exceeding every expectation I would have had of an HVAC company.
That's awesome.
You know, so I think that I really do think that I'm blessed to be where I'm at, and I chose the right company, he chose me. So it was awesome. When I was in tech school, my instructor had actually worked for Dell previously, and then he started teaching, and when Dell walked in looking for an employee, he was doing jumping jacks behind him, signaling for me to come over, and because I was the only guy at the time that had started working while I was in school, and so I got on with Dell's, and I heard the whole year I was at school, this is the place you need to work if you want to do residential, and I got on, and I'm not going anywhere.
You found a good spot and you're staying.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, we know right now that there are a lot of companies in the HVAC industry that are desperate for service techs. So if there's a service tech out there that is, you know, maybe looking to make a jump, or they're looking to go to trade school, or they're somebody's new, what's one piece of advice you would give to them, either as they start, you know, down this career path, or as they're looking for a company?
Well, you really gotta. You're not just. Don't just let them interview you. You interview them. So ask the right questions in the interviews up front, just to kind of gauge what kind of company you're going to end up working for. Look for a company that has, you know, high morals. They're going to work. They're going to have honesty and integrity built into their the way they do things, and don't settle. But also, when you do get into a company that is a fine place to work, just follow the process. Especially if it's SBE, I mean, whatever process it might be. I mean, they've got things in line to help you become successful, and I think that's the difference that I see in myself and some of the other techs. You know, a lot of our techs have been through SBE, but if you don't grab it and just run with it, you know, you're going to stay where you're at. You're going to stay stuck. So you really got to just keep being committed to doing whatever it takes to get where you want to be. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, great advice. And so, as we wrap up here this episode, is there any last minute thing that you would have wanted to share with other technicians that I didn't ask you?
Let's see.
No?
No.
I think run it on a high note. So,
absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time. I really
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
it. And I hope a lot of techs will learn from what you had to say.
Appreciate it.
All
Thank you.
right.